In the first chapter of the book of Ezekiel, the prophet describes a vision so intense, so otherworldly, that centuries of mystics have struggled to decipher it. He sees a great storm cloud coming from the north, filled with fire and flashing lightning. Inside it are 4 living beings, its 4 faces, 4 wings, and feet like burnished bronze. They are carried by wheels within wheels full of eyes. And above them, something like a throne. Upon the throne, the likeness of a man, found in the Hekhalot liturgia collection of early Jewish mystical texts, compiled between the 3rd and 7th centuries. These writings describe the soul as ascent through the 7 heavenly palaces to behold the divine throne. This is the Merkavah, the divine chariot. The term Merkavah simply means chariot in Hebrew. But in Jewish mystical tradition, especially from the early centuries of the Common Era, it refers not to a literal vehicle, but to an entire mystical tradition of ascent. What Ezekiel saw became the basis for Merkavah mysticism, an esoteric path of spiritual elevation and inner transformation. But this journey is not metaphorical only, structured, dangerous, initiatory. The mystic must pass through layers of celestial bureaucracy, hostile angels, fiery guardians, demanding gatekeepers. The traveler must be ritually pure, ethically refined, and equipped with secret divine names, incantations, and precise visualizations. He sits on a throne next to gods, wears divine garments, and is given authority over the heavenly realms. I'll fast forward to the New Testament, the book of Acts, chapter 1. Jesus, after his resurrection, is taken up into heaven in a cloud while his disciples watch. This moment, known in Christianity as the Ascension, marks Jesus' glorification. He vanishes into the sky, not just to depart, but to be enthroned. The journey is fraught with peril. One enters, but may not return. One might die, go mad, or lose faith. Jesus doesn't ascend in silence. He ascends before witnesses. He promises the Spirit to all. The path of mystical ascent becomes democratized. And here's where the mystical threads begin to converge. The cloud, the heavenly chambers, the transformation of the human into the glorified. The ascension of Jesus closely resembles ancient Jewish heavenly ascent traditions. In fact, in the apocalyptic text known as 3 Enoch, the biblical figure Enoch is taken into heaven, transformed into the archangel Metatron, and called the lesser YHWH. Scholars like DeConick and Rachel Elior have shown that early Jewish Christians likely drew on these apocalyptic and mystical motifs. Jesus, like Enoch, ascends. Jesus, like Metatron, is enthroned. Jesus, like the Merkavah mystic, passes through veils into glory. But there's an important shift. In Merkavah mysticism, ascent is reserved for the spiritual elites of Jesus, like Rabbi Akiva, who enter pards the orchard of divine mystery. In contrast, the Christian ascension becomes public theology, and yet the imagery remains: the throne. These shared symbols point to a common spiritual yearning, to return to the source, to ascend not by wings, but by purification, to see not with the eyes of flesh, but the eyes of the heart, the one who sits above all, yet dwells within. The chariot still rides, and the journey, though hidden, is still open. Want to learn Jewish mysticism with Merkavah Mystic AI? I link in bio.